Terence McKenna once said that reality is not what we think it is. That our consensus reality is but a thin veneer stretched over an ocean of possibility. Tonight, we dive beneath that surface into the realm he called the DMT dimension. McKenna believed that dimethyltryptamine, DMT, was more than a molecule. It was a key to what he termed the other, a dimension of experience so profound, so utterly alien that our language fails to capture its essence. The syntactical nature of reality, the real secret of magic, is that the world is made of words, and if you know the words that the world is made of, you can make of it whatever you wish. But what happens when words themselves become inadequate? When the very fabric of language dissolves into something McKenna called visible language, geometric forms that carry meaning beyond syntax? So, McKenna described the DMT experience as an encounter with autonomous entities, beings of pure information, existing in a space that honestly felt more real than our everyday reality. He called them machine elves, or sometimes self-transforming elf machines, entities that seem to recognize the traveler and, well, communicate through a kind of linguistic synesthesia. These weren't hallucinations, McKenna insisted. They were meetings with genuinely other forms of consciousness, glimpses into what he termed the Gaian mind, the planetary intelligence that, connects all living systems. The message of psychedelics is that culture can be reinvented as a set of emotional and spiritual values rather than products. This is terrifying news. In the DMT dimension, McKenna found not escape from reality, but a more fundamental layer of it. This was a realm where consciousness itself was the primary building material, where thoughts became visible, and where the observer and observed collapsed into a singular, unified experience. McKenna's insights, really challenge our most basic assumptions. If consciousness is fundamental, if it's not produced by the brain but rather channeled through it, then what we call reality might be just one frequency on an infinite dial of possible experiences. He spoke of the transcendental object at the end of time, a kind of strange attractor pulling evolution toward ever greater complexity and consciousness. The DMT experience, he suggested, was a preview of this destination, a glimpse of what we're all becoming. Nature is not our enemy to be raped and conquered. Nature is ourselves to be cherished and explored. McKenna learned from indigenous teachers that these plant medicines weren't drugs in our Western sense. They were teachers, allies in the quest for knowledge. The ayahuasquero spoke of a green world, a dimension of plant consciousness where information flowed like rivers through an eternal forest. But McKenna's greatest insight might have been this, that the psychedelic experience points toward a fundamental truth about reality itself, that what we call the physical world might be the hallucination, and what we encounter in these extraordinary states might be more real than the consensus reality we take for granted. Reality is the original Rorschach test, McKenna once observed. The DMT dimension doesn't show us what isn't there, it reveals what was always there, hidden beneath the surface of ordinary perception. McKenna believed we stood at a crossroads. We could choose to remain trapped in the narrow bandwidth of consensus reality, or we could expand our definition of what it means to be human, to be conscious, to be real. The DMT dimension, as McKenna understood it, isn't separate from our world. It's the deeper structure of our world, the source code of reality itself, and perhaps that's the most radical insight of all. That transformation isn't about escaping reality, but about recognizing what reality actually is. McKenna left us with a challenge, to be brave enough to explore the true depths of consciousness, to question everything we think we know about the nature of existence. Because in the end, the greatest journey isn't to some distant star, it's into the infinite space within our own minds. The real secret of magic is that the world is made of words, and if you know the words that the world is made of, you can make of it whatever you wish. Fade to black.